From the 29-year-old David Corenswet being cast as the new Superman to Cavill's fans not being ready for another Man of Steel, here's how fans are taking to the news of the new Superman. To kick things off, the American actor is donning the red cape for the DCC universe. After James Gunn fired the fan-favorite Cavill, intense debates were going on about who'd be taking over the role. Not gonna lie, most people were really upset that Cavill had been fired. I'll get to that in a minute, but for now, there's a brand new Superman, handpicked by Gunn himself. Now, the actor's been around since 2011, but this will be his biggest project so far. After graduating from Juilliard with a bachelor's in fine art and drama, he started his acting career with guest roles on House of Cards in 2016. David then took up lead roles in two shows, The Politician and Hollywood, both created by Ryan Murphy. Since then, he's also been in a couple of movies like Look Both Ways and Pearl. Oh, and he was also in the HBO miniseries We Own This City. So he may be new to the whole action-packed superhero genre, but he's definitely got the acting credentials for it. And clearly, he is super excited about his new job. He's had his eye on the role for some time now, because back in 2019, he said it was his pie-in-the-sky ambition to play the superhero. Now, that's some powerful manifestation. It was an exhausting job interview, though. At the same time that David was cast as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan landed the role of Lois Lane. This decision came after an extensive casting process that involved months of auditions, screen tests, and costume fittings. The two were among the select few actors who had the opportunity to test in front of DC co-chairs, Peter Safran and director James Gunn. They were even dressed in full Superman attire for one of the testing days. All parties involved were eager to finalize the casting before the potential SAG-AFTRA strike, which had a midnight deadline on June 30th. Both actors had closed test deals that'd expire after 2 business weeks, so time was important. The casting process for Superman Legacy has been painstaking, with Safran and Gunn keen on finding the perfect actors for these iconic roles in the new franchise. Now that Corenswet and Brosnahan have been secured as Superman and Lois Lane, attention will shift to filling other crucial parts, such as Lex Luthor and Kent's friend Jimmy Olsen. But when do we actually get to meet the two of them? Like, officially? While Warner Brothers hasn't confirmed its attendance at Comic-Con in San Diego, there's still a possibility that Corenswet and Brosnahan could be introduced there. Probably during the studio's Hall H panel if the strike doesn't occur. But if the strike does happen, the actors won't be able to promote the project as per strike guidelines. This might also be why the duo has been quiet on what's a major career-defining role for them. So far, the only reaction we have seen from David is a single emoji. Yep, that's it, a single emoji. The actor got a shout-out from Jack Quaid, who stars in The Boys. Quaid took to Twitter to congratulate Corenswet on landing the superhero gig and had some really nice things to say about him. He mentioned that they had worked together a few years ago, and that David was one of the nicest people he's ever worked with. He even assured everyone that Corenswet will absolutely nail the Superman role. So the new Superman responded to the tweet with a simple yet mysterious saluting emoji, keeping things low-key. It turns out that Quaid and Corenswet have a bit of history together. They've both appeared in the pilot episode of a period drama called The Tap, set in Yale University, which unfortunately didn't get picked up for a full season. But now, they're both joining the elite group of actors who have played Superman throughout the years. Quaid is gearing up for his debut as the Man of Steel in the animated series, My Adventures with Superman, where he'll be voicing the character. To add to the excitement, Quaid also shared an Instagram story featuring a picture of him and David. The caption read, "Two Supermen." He jokingly wondered how anyone got that photo. Gotta admit, filling the role of Superman is a pretty tall order, especially when you're picking up from Henry Cavill. Many fans see Cavill as the best Superman ever. I mean, have you seen those muscles? Cavill had the perfect superhero physique and he looked like Superman. His commanding presence and strength made you believe he could take on anything. But it's not just about looks. Cavill brought some serious acting skills to the role. He was able to portray both Clark Kent and Superman as two distinct personalities. You could see the struggle within him as he tried to balance his extraordinary powers with his desire to fit in and connect with humanity. And let's not forget the emotional depth he brought to the character. In Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Cavill showed us a vulnerable and conflicted Superman. He made you feel for the guy, even though he's super powerful. It added a layer of relatability and made Superman more human. Plus, his chemistry with Amy Adams as Lois Lane was fantastic. They had that on-screen spark that made their romance believable and touching. And let's not forget that Cavill's portrayal stayed true to the core spirit of Superman. Sure, the DC Extended Universe took some liberties with the story, but Cavill's Superman remained a symbol of hope and inspiration, which is what Superman is all about. That said, some people will always love Christopher Reeve's classic portrayal, and others might have a soft spot for Tom Welling in Smallville. He might be the greatest Superman of all time, but this isn't the best time for Cavill's career. He started as Superman in Man of Steel in 2013, and his last feature role was in 2021 in Zack Snyder's Justice League. There was that mid-credits appearance in Black Adam in 2022, which all of us assumed meant that Cavill was returning to the DC universe. But in a cruel twist of fate, he was fired from the role, with James Gunn saying something about how he didn't fire Cavill. He simply didn't cast him. That'd be called firing. Many fans accused Gunn of stringing him along and then dumping him. They also speculated that it was this hope of reprising his role as Superman that led him to quit The Witcher. Later, there were rumors that Cavill was fired for the Netflix show as well. Cavill felt that the writing team weren't true to the source material, and things got a bit sticky between him and the crew, resulting in Cavill being fired. But hey, that's not official. Then there was some noise about Cavill being the next James Bond, and honestly, I still have my heart set on that possibility. But the producers say they haven't started the casting process yet. But good reason tells me they'd never cast a Superman actor as James Bond. Cavill does have some exciting projects lined up, though. He's going back to his spy thriller roots in an upcoming movie called Argylle, where he'll be sharing the screen with none other than Grammy award-winning artist Dua Lipa. Cavill plays a character who's dealing with amnesia. When we first meet him, he believes he's a successful spy novelist, but as his memories start returning, he realizes he used to work for a secret organization. And guess what? He's not too happy with them. In fact, he becomes hell-bent on seeking revenge against his former employers. Then he's taking on a completely different role in the Rosie Project. Cavill plays a genetics professor who creates a questionnaire to find the perfect woman because he can't seem to get a date. When he meets Rosie, who doesn't fit his criteria, he has to figure out what to do next. The movie is currently in pre-production, so we don't have a release date yet. But definitely some great Cavill content coming up, because God knows his fans are not happy with David Corenswet's casting as Superman. One of their concerns was that Cavill's Superman didn't get a proper conclusion, and some even said that they wouldn't watch the Superman Legacy movie until Cavill got the ending he deserved. Another fan went after David's physique, saying he should start hitting the gym if he really wants to look like a Man of Steel. Ouch! Others were convinced that David was picked only because he looked like Cavill. Well, I mean, they both look like Superman, but the fans think David is a cheap imitation of Henry. Savage. Another one said that Cavill was a real man, while Corenswet is just a boy. They even started a hashtag, Bring Back Henry Cavill. So there you have it, from Cavill's fans not being ready for another Man of Steel, to the 29-year-old David Corenswet being cast as the new Superman. That's how fans reacted to the news of the new Man of Steel.